Welcome back to Langman Estate Winery. We're building our new winery, tasting room, and restaurant right in our adopted home of Centerton, Arkansas. Today, we are inside a restaurant that has gone out of business, unfortunately, and we're looking at some of the most beautiful furniture we have ever seen in a restaurant or in most people's homes. Amazing equipment that they have, and it's all up for auction. We're going to show us actually bidding on it. It was an online auction. We're going to then show you where this furniture was made. We figured out that it is made right in Arkansas, and the quality is just off the charts and the value is incredible. And then we're going to show you the results of our bidding, and we'll see what ended up in our new space across the street, which is our new winery, tasting room, and restaurant. That is a 35-foot bar, top line equipment. We're going to see if that cooler right there works. And that table's kind of cool. We're going to add that on. And they spent a lot on the floor. And now let's look at the kitchen. Top of the line appliances. Cookers and fryers and pizza ovens. Gas heaters, huge prep table there, and this monster hood with the fire suppression probably cost $150,000. That's a beast right there. Man, one that size, I don't even know how much that costs. $10,000, $12,000. There's a $5,000 to $6,000 mixer. Oh, and there's even a bigger one. So these things they really didn't spare any expense. And candidly, they built a big walk-in fruit cooler. So this is what you don't do in your kitchen. Way too expensive. Right in the middle of this video, we have to do a quick construction update because incredible progress has been made. Let's go inside and see what's happening. I see the electricians are here now. That's a great sign. Great timing, electricians are here. The only electrician that we want and we recommend is the one and only Rocky Barker from Heartland Electrics. I gotta tell you, highly recommended. Him and his son, who's gonna hide over there, doesn't wanna get on the camera, is fine. Great work for this type of big commercial projects. And we first met Rocky at our house when he did some work for us just in the last year or so. Could not be happier, just like everybody else we know here in Northwest Arkansas. Nice gentleman. Honest gentleman, high quality work. And again, just could not be happier that they're part of our project here. And of course, once we open up, part of the Langman Estate Winery family. So we were just talking, as you look up, you want to pan the camera up, we've got LED lights up there, and they're makes it look like an operating room, right?
It's pretty bright, yes.
And so the challenge with these are a little bit older, and I've learned stuff from you, which is it's easy to teach me stuff, let me just say that, but tell me what you said about those. They look like the bulbs are burning out, but it's not the bulbs.
Actually, it's the drivers inside. These are older fixtures that we've made probably 15 years ago or installed here 15 years ago. And the bulbs actually plug in. They're older LEDs. We can't really change them out.
So what's a driver?
A driver is like a starter. It starts at
it's like a little fluorescent bulb.
A little transformer, basically, is what it does.
It sparks. It brings it to life.
Lights the tubes up, yes.
Okay, and that's what's failing, not the tubes.
Yes.
So okay, and there's a high ceiling to work on, and it's kind of sterile kind of light in here. Is what we're saying, and so we're standing right where the new front door is going to go in this next week. This is going to be the tasting bar, and directly above we're going to put a nice big chandelier there. So what we're discussing is, should we leave some of these lights in here, or what else can we do? What do you recommend?
I believe if it were me, I'd probably go ahead and put your chandelier, the chandelier that you want in here, and do a softer, warmer for a better ambiance for your wine tasting, basically.
So do we leave the fixtures and just take the bulbs down and put new bulbs that don't need starters in, or do you need all new fixtures?
We can do whatever you want, pretty much. I would recommend probably taking those fixtures down because we can't really change those fixtures unless we completely rewire them.
Oh, okay, got it.
But I would put the chandelier up, and then if you wanted to do some warmer light, maybe some sconces around the wall.
Okay.
We can do some like ribbon lighting or tape lighting or rope lighting, but it wouldn't be like a surgery room like
So
you have
yeah,
right now.
these lights are in the kitchen. That's going to be all white. Perfect. We want that to look like an operating room
Right,
because it's going to be just as clean as an operating room. But the rest of this, we want to have ambiance, and these lights really don't go with the word ambiance, I don't think. Well, thank you for doing this. You know, the great part about this is we're going to do a quick we're going to do a really quick construction update, but the walls are all roughed in. Now our electricians come through and they're going to do the electrical rough in inside the walls.
Mm-hmm.
We get this inspected and we get to drywall.
Right.
That's when things really start happening.
Yeah, it'll start looking like something. Then.
It will. So, well, cool. Listen, thank you for what you're doing.
You bet.
And remember, Rocky Barker, his description's right below in our video. Cannot recommend him higher than this. And
Thank you.
in the end, we're going to have all of our tradesmen and trades ladies that we're working with. We're blessed, and we know that. Another reason why Northwest Arkansas is so wonderful. Great product, great people, great service, great value. Welcome back to Langman Estate Winery. We are going to auction to possibly buy a full restaurant of the most incredible furniture I've ever seen. After we reviewed it, I'm driving down the road back to Northwest Arkansas and I see the sign that says Woodco. That's the company that made this incredibly beautiful, durable, and heirloom quality furniture. And so today, we're gonna meet the family behind Woodco. So we have Leslie, Bobby, and Ben Pierce, second generation and third generation, and the founder of the retail store right here in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Bobby, would you just give us a quick history of how Woodco started, how it's evolved, and what you're doing today?
Yeah, well, in 1977, my dad started this business, and then we were just making turnings, just wood turnings for the other furniture industries in this area. And so we did that for years and years and years. Then we started kind of growing from there, and we started building our own chairs, and to the point to where we had our own furniture line. We weren't selling parts to other furniture factories. We had our own line. So then we went from there and just grew the business from there.
And you're still, all that quality that was back in 1977, it's still very evident today. Mm-hmm. And in 1999, Leslie said, let's do this.
We decided to open a retail store open to the public here at this factory. And we started off just selling what we were manufacturing. And then we kind of grew our line, added hutches. That was a necessity. We had someone building and it didn't work out, so we jumped in there and did it ourselves. And then we were buying, and still do buy, all of our panels from the Amish in Ohio. So we started picking up, going to visit them, started learning about their neighbors who made rocking chairs or curios or bedroom furniture, and just slowly incorporated that American-made solid wood customized furniture to our line. And we have grown from this little room, then we annexed this warehouse, and now we have annexed another warehouse in the back. So we have 3 large showrooms all open to the public.
So tell me if this is correct. Everything that I see that you don't personally make here, that you'll go with another manufacturer, is the top quality in the line that you're bringing in, just like what you're doing here. That's fantastic. And now, Ben, you're now in part of the business also. The great part about it, for such a young gentleman, you get to follow in your father and mother and your grandparents' vision and legacy and success, and you get to work with people who have been here for 20 and 30 years to make sure that the success going forward of Woodco is really going to happen.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts about going with the next step with the family?
It's exciting. Like you said, it was, I grew up in it, so it was just second nature. Never had to think about what I was going to do. I always knew this was going to be it. And yeah, definitely great steps to follow.
It's beautiful. That's the American dream. It really is, Yeah. And you can be proud of what you're doing. You're your own boss. What do you say? I'm Woodco. And people know, they go, oh, Woodco. That just shows what happens. But that also means it's been going on for almost a half a century. And now your job is to continue it for the next 3 or 4 generations after that. Very cool. Well, thank you for doing this today. We're going to take a look around this beautiful showroom. As soon as you walk in here, you just go, and you have to take your jaw and shut it. And then we're going to look at some of the manufacturing, and then we're going to come back and show you what we're going to do at the auction. So one thing that I love is that everything made at Woodco is going to be spectacularly good, and it's worth every penny. It's an heirloom quality product. Very slowly over the last 50 years, the Pierce family has allowed in other manufacturers of the highest standards only, with fabric, with other materials, wood and metal, to also contribute to the amazing things that are going on here at Woodco. If it's going to be sold at Woodco, it is going to be made to last. It's made the way they used to make things. It's heirloom quality. And it's actually a great value because they believe in a low margin and passing the savings on to customers. And so, Bobby, I'm just looking right here at these beautiful chairs over here, and they're quite remarkable. Tell me what's special about these.
Well, they're Amish made. We've found, like you just said, developed other sources to sell in our store. We found these guys through all our raw material that we build our product out of comes from an Amish mill. So we've got to know these other Amish people that build beautiful furniture. Wow. So all this is just the Amish quality. We backhaul it on our lumber trucks, buy it direct from the Amish craftsmen that are building it, backhaul it on our lumber trucks and sell it at our store. And it's just, you can customize, you can buy it right off the floor, or you can build it however you want. They do a lot of custom, any kind of wood you want, whatever color you want, you pick the fabrics, and it's just, yeah, it's fun to sell.
It's just beautiful. Even even all the tufting of and the stitching of the fabric on the chairs. I didn't realize that was a glider, but look at that thing.
Glides, reclines,
silent and perfect. Oh my goodness
yeah.
gracious!
Yeah, you see how it's still moving. It's on high-speed steel ball bearings. Everything they do, they think it should last forever.
Wow!
It's even designed where if that fabric ever does wear out, you can recover it really easily.
Jeez.
So yeah.
And so I'm looking around for some of our neighbor ladies. They're looking for pieces forever. We see this and that right for the staircase. You know, when you walk in a nice house that's going up, you want it. If it's a grandfather clock, but maybe not a grandfather clock. What about like that? Where's that coming from?
Well, another Amish supplier. We probably work with 10 or 12 different small Amish crafters, and this is one of our better ones. And it's just 100% solid oak. You can, or if you want it maple, or if you want a cherry, walnut, hickory, whatever size you want, whatever color you want, he'll do complete custom.
So, from a civilian, when you're not in the business, I look and I go, man, that sounds really expensive.
Yeah.
Can I look at the tag? Can I tell them what it says?
Please do. That'd be the best thing.
I'm guessing 4 figures. $5.99.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But don't let that fool you. I mean, that's just our low margins. People sometimes see our prices are so low, they don't understand the quality that is. But that's our niche.
Man, that's value. That really is. Yeah. And one of the things we were talking a little while ago about leather. Mm-hmm. I thought leather was leather was leather was leather. No. And 30 years ago, my wife and I bought a couple red chairs, red leather chairs in my office. And they still look beautiful, like they're brand new. But in the meantime, sorry, I'm in love again with another piece of material. But we bought a couple leather couches in the last 15 years, and the leather is fading on both of them and disintegrating. So what's the difference between this leather couch and the leather couches that we probably bought in the last 15 years that were disintegrating?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, some of the import companies have gone to just doing like a bonded leather. It's not actually a real true leather hide. It's just ground up leather glued onto a backing. Oh. They're still able to call that leather, even though it's really not what you were used to, like your old pieces that were quality. And so there's a whole generation of people that just don't understand how good leather furniture can truly be. So that was a bonded piece that will fade. But a real piece of leather is extremely durable and will last, generations. Jeez. Absolutely.
I have never heard that before. That's legal for them to do that.
Yeah, I think it only has to be 10%.
Holy cow. Yeah. Well, so in the wine business, so I'm a pharmacist by training. In the wine business, there's 132 ingredients that legally can be added to wine in America.
Wow.
And they don't have to tell you that.
Yeah.
And so leather can be called leather, and it's not leather. No. This is real leather from the cow hides.
Yeah, it's actually
these are just gorgeous. And this is just, and I see mattresses over there.
Amish-made mattresses.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep. Just, a lot of the mattresses are lower quality where they'll break down. This is just another Amish product that we love selling. It's just that Amish quality, and it's the way they build it. These will last so much longer, and they're so much better built. We've got actually chiropractic doctors sending their patients in here because these mattresses stay flat so long that it actually, you know, helps their backs and all. But it's just Amish quality.
So Sue has resided in a chair already, but we have bought, how many, 3 mattresses in the last 8 years? And so I think our next mattress is going to be from Woodco, and it's going to be an Amish one. So tell me, what's different about this versus the commercial ones we're getting now?
Well, it's just the materials they use. Like in a king mattress, it's a coil mattress, and I can show you right here.
Oh,
in a king mattress, he puts 575 coils in there. They're so close that they're touching each other. You can't put any more coils in it. Well, a lot of the other lesser made import mattresses will be about 300 coils. He's 575. And it's a better coil. He has a better frame. He ties them together. It's the same on both sides where you can flip it. And he has a real box spring. So you just got, it's just Amish
look
quality.
at that, yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
just, there's no chemicals in this mattress. By law, you have to have a fire barrier. This is a natural fire barrier, so you're not laying there breathing chemicals every day of your life. So it's just an Amish quality that just, they take pride in what they do. It's got the side supports. In case you sit on the side, it won't break down. That's the big thing. These they don't break down. They stay flat.
Wow.
Yeah.
But just the box spring is amazing because we've bought ones that literally were just like fabric over some 4x2s or something.
Yeah, they'll even be cardboard. And they don't even call them box springs anymore. They call them foundations.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
this is just an old school, high quality, good materials Amish product that we love selling.
Am I allowed to ask for price?
Yeah, please do. Well, like on this king bed, we sell it by sets. We sell the mattress and the box spring, and this is a king set, and it's $17.59 for the set.
Well, we just bought our mattress was $2,100 a year ago, and it's already starting to sag.
Yeah, these won't.
I blame it on my big belly, but that's obviously I need more coils, and that's a true box spring.
Yeah.
Quite amazing. So next we're going to look at production. Ben, the 3rd generation of the Pierce family here at Woodco, produces some of the finest heirloom quality products you can buy, things that really are a legacy item for families. Here's something else that Ben has produced, at least half of it, and it's this new little guy right here. And we're just meeting for the first time. What's your name?
Janae.
Janae, pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
And what's his baby's name?
This is Brady.
And he's the 4th generation. So you're going to have him, sanding in the back today to get him started?
That's right. Yeah. We're gonna turn him loose.
And it's obviously starving that poor child, I could tell. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. What a nice surprise. And that's really what's inspiring here. It's a family business. And you think about your grandfather, almost 50 years ago started this. Now your dad has taken it into the next level, and your mom has started this retail thing. And now here's the next generation.
Yep,
One day you're going to pass it on to him.
That's right.
And what's his name again?
Brady.
Brady. That's a beautiful name. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That right there, that makes you the richest people we know.
That's right, yeah.
So this is the other place on a daily basis that Ben and Bobby and Leslie create other things besides beautiful babies. And we're right here in the heart of a manufacturing plant. Just walking in here, love the way this smells. And it's overwhelming how many interesting things are happening. And this is where true craftsmen and craftswomen work. And so Ben, at his young age, is in charge of all of this. And from what I've known, the short time I've known you, I think it's in very good hands. First thing that I see are these gorgeous big pieces of wood. What are these?
That's a live edge. That's maple, ambrosia maple, and you can see they still have the bark on them. And they come out of Ohio from an Amish mill. It's all slow grown hardwoods.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
And so everything you're getting here, is it like big slabs like this?
Yeah. I mean, it's like this piece right there. That's a custom piece. That's going to be someone's bar top. Or it could be like the one under it's going to be a kitchen table. It's all custom dimensions on those.
And so do you also, where do you source your oak from again?
Out of Ohio, from an Amish mill. Millersburg, Ohio.
And so does a big truck come here with a lot of wood?
Yep.
And is it in panels or is it pre-cut, or what does it look like?
Yeah, it'll look similar to that. That stack's already been gone through, but it's going to be, you know, quite a bit bigger, taller. It'll come on pallets on the back of an 18-wheeler.
Okay.
Slammed full of panels.
A lot of panels. That's
Yep.
pretty cool. And then from the raw wood you're getting all this remarkable.
Yeah. So those
Pieces.
are table slides right there, and then rims, steam bent rims, all for, you know, they're all table parts, and they're sourced out of Ohio.
And so you're getting, but this wood's coming in just straight pieces. You have a way right here in the shop to steam bend them.
We don't actually do our steam bendings. That's sourced out of Ohio too, from
Okay, got
another
it. They're doing
Amish supplier.
Okay.
Yep.
And so it's amazing you have all these pieces here. And how about all these gorgeous arches and some of the other intricate items that you have here? Where do you get those from?
Also out of Ohio, Millersburg, Ohio. It's another Amish supplier. They're all steam bent rims for tables. And then there's slides, also same company out of Ohio, for leave tables. That's how they slide open.
And that's these things here. So this is all, it's not like wood composites you get in new tables. Those things are going to last hundreds of years.
Yep.
And this is just the old world way of doing this, right?
It is, yeah. Not many steam benders left. So
Man, oh man.
it is old school.
They're beautiful, they're elegant, and there's a whole stack right there of those arches. And if you look at them, they're all almost perfectly symmetrical.
They are.
And that's all done by hand.
It is.
Wow.
It's amazing craftsmanship there.
There really is, and then you guys take it to the next level.
We do.
Let's go look at these machines that we have here. They're just, I can't even understand what they're doing by looking at them.
Yeah.
So we're looking at these beautiful slabs of wood, some big solid ones, some edge glued together like this. So you have stacks of them coming in. So if it's coming off that big stack, what happens at these stations right here?
Yeah, so each station, that's where, each craftsman, each table builder will be, and that's where they start the process of building a table.
Just from the top and the side,
Yeah.
it's almost haunting. It's so beautiful. Wow-wee. And so this starts here.
It does.
And then the craftsmen are taking it and turning it into something like this.
Yep. So you'll see, this isn't complete yet, but this is, a built table. And so from here, once it's built, it'll go over to the sander, to the sanding people.
The sanding people. So I noticed that this says Gina.
The customer.
Okay.
You can't see that it's signed yet because it's not completed. It's still got a few more steps. But
so Ms. wherever you're at, you can be very happy that she gets that. I'm sure of that.
That's right. She will be.
So we start from forming here, and then where do we go next?
So the next stage, after one of the 3 stations of the builders,
I'll let you lead the way.
It'll come over here to the standing station. So you can see one upside down here. You can see where it's probably been signed by the builder. Right here is the builder's name, DJ. He's one of the guys that's been here about 35 years.
Really?
Yep.
Very cool.
So it's still upside down. He's gonna, do all the little fine details to it here. Getting ready for it to go through this sander right here. It's actually that's a German sander. It's called the Heisman.
Wow.
And that thing does wonders.
Can I stop you 1 second?
Yeah.
You sand every piece on the bottom and the top, don't you?
Yep.
There's not a rough edge anywhere.
Right.
It's amazing. And every piece of this is solid wood. Oh, this thing can expand and contract too, right?
This is a solid top here. No, I'm sorry. You're right. It is a lead table. Yes. Yeah.
That is look at the intricacy on that. That's amazing. It really is.
Yep.
So this now goes into this big machine here. And what do they do with that? How does it work and so forth?
So this is called a long belt sander. It'll have a rough belt on the front, and you can't really see it from this angle, but on the back, it'll have a finer grit belt, and that's the finishing belt. So each table, it'll be ran through here several times until it's,
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's a big belt going this way.
It is, yeah. You can kind of see it from here.
Yep.
That thing's just gonna spin just like that.
Yeah. That's how you do big and when you're doing it this way, it's perfectly level, the sanding.
It is, yeah.
Yes.
And then after that step, if it's a leave table, like that one we were just looking at, after it comes through here, it'll go to this table right here to be leveled, kind of like you're saying.
It gets that final perfection in it.
Yeah. So each joint of that leaf and the half will be level. It'll slide back and forth on this table, and they'll go in order of each leaf. So, if you take one leaf out and you put the other one in, everything still matches.
Got it.
all the way down to where there's no leaves in it.
That's pretty cool.
It is, yeah.
And then how about the bases and the legs? Where do we go for that?
Yeah. So a lot of parts for the bases, they'll be glued up in one of these two stations, and then milled from here. The main two areas for that is that table and this table, where all the legs and bases and feet and other table parts will be built. And we can walk over there.
Oh wait, yeah. Let's look at this. All right, so this is amazing. May I pick it up?
Yeah, yeah, and that's a turn base.
Huh.
So that's what happens in Fort Smith. It'll be turned over there at that plant, and they send it over here to do the final touches to it.
So I thought you get tables that are made like out of plastic or cardboard. This was all dimensional lumber.
Yep. Yeah, it's all hardwood, still coming out of Ohio, out of Millersburg, Ohio.
Wow.
We bring it here and we do all the mill work.
And this is what your grandfather did 50 years ago.
That's
with
how
the
the
turning,
business
right?
started, was all turnings for, table bases, legs, chair parts, cabinet parts.
The amazing part about it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
8 pieces,
8.
yeah.
It's an octagonal pieces, octagonal design on the top. They've turned it down so it's round in the center, and these are 8 perfectly aligned pieces of wood.
Yeah,
And this gets screwed to the table, or
it will, yeah, it'll be bolted, and then those bottom holes are where the feet go, and I can grab one of those real quick.
oh, I didn't. And there's more to that too.
Yes.
Wow.
You can see right there, that's
man.
where they sign. Even something small like this, just a foot.
That's the
That doesn't mean much, but they're still signing each little part.
each little part, huh?
Yep.
That is cool. So on the base of that thing we just looked at,
That's where
this
it goes.
what holds in. So even the legs of your tables, and this is multiple different pieces of wood.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, work of art, all the way to something like that. That's like
Yeah.
the epitome of turning, huh?
That is a big turning there, yeah. And they get bigger than that. A lot more custom.
Yeah, just that. Boy, what a difference between they staple stuff together.
Yeah.
On when they're importing stuff. Man, oh man, I'm gonna give it back to
Yeah.
you so I don't drop it.
Yeah.
I might just take one home. It's so cool. This is the happiest that I've been dirty in a long time. I'm very happy with that. What you're doing here, it's gonna be 500 years from now, long as it hasn't been soaked in water or it hasn't burned in a fire. What you make here is still gonna exist centuries from now.
Absolutely, yeah. That's
And
one of
then-
my favorite things about the family business is you'll see someone run into someone, for example, and they just tell you how impressed they are with the product, and it's 30 years old. And that's really what I love hearing that. It's really motivates you, and that's
great.
one of my favorite parts of it.
People are gonna say, okay, that's a Woodco table, honey. You're gonna inherit that one day.
That's right, yeah.
Right? That
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, we are, yeah.
So this is a big responsibility for a young man, but from everything I see, this production is in great hands for
Thank
a young
you,
guy.
thank you.
And then the little guy that we just met,
Yeah.
he'll be doing this one
He
day
will,
also.
yeah. Won't
That's
be
really
much
cool.
longer.
Congratulations. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
that. So now, what happens in there? Is that where it gets color?
Yeah, this is going to be, there's 2 different areas for finishing. So this is where all the chairs will be stained. Those are 2 dip tanks, and we'll have ladies in here dipping them and wiping them. Wow. And you can see them right there. That's where they sit there to dry after they've been wiped. And then they'll come on this conveyor. They'll hang each chair or table parts, or like you can see right here, there's legs, table legs. They'll also go on the conveyor. And then they'll come into this next room.
Before we go,
Yeah.
so you're on the video that's on the website, right? Hi, Jim Langman from Langman Estate Winery. What's your name?
Jessica Carter.
How long have you been here for?
On and off, 13 years.
13 years. So, on your website right now, you go on, there's a video of you dipping the furniture into these big tanks. That looks, from a civilian point of view, it looks actually kind of scary. So, what's the biggest mistakes? If you said, Jim, first, don't ever do this. Don't ever say, Jim, go try and stain a chair. But if someone brand new is going to come in and start this process, what's the biggest mistakes they would make?
Well, it's actually quite simple. You just dip it, you make sure you get the whole thing covered, you put it on there, and then you just start from the bottom, wiping down. You wipe it down good the first time, take it down, just wipe it down real good, and then you bring it over here to the table, and you set it up, And you just kind of go over it piece by piece, making sure no scratches are on it, no dents. I mean, it's very precise, and you want it very good
No
quality.
bleed outs.
Yes.
So you're a craftswoman.
Yes.
You really are. So have you already worked today?
I'm actually in the middle of my shift. Well,
Middle of the
I'm taking a
shift.
break.
I have to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why are you not completely covered with stain?
Well, usually
I would be. I
wear
know
an
that.
apron, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes, I mean, you get a little messy. We do wipe down a little bit with salt or mineral spirits or thinner, just to get a little bit of the excess off.
Okay.
But yeah, usually it's
That's
a little
pretty
bit
good.
more.
I would have I would have to have a full hazmat suit because I would have more on me than on the furniture. So thank you for what you're doing, and what you're doing is gorgeous.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
amazing, and every little piece you have here, someday it's going to be inherited by the next generation,
Yes, it's
and the next generation, and the next generation. It's pretty cool.
All right, well, nice
Thank
to
you,
meet
pleasure,
Thank
great
you.
job. Thank you.
So this is where all the spraying's done. Like this, for instance, this is, not everything's wiped stains. Like cabinets like this, they'll spray the stain on and wipe it. It's not all dipped or wiped.
Got it.
But everything's sealed in here. That's the sealing booth. All the chairs will come down that line and they'll be sprayed with sealer. And once it's dried, then they hand sand everything. Just
Wait, say that one more time.
So-
They what at the end?
they sand everything.
By hand.
Yeah, everything's
Wow.
sanded by hand.
Wow.
That's one step of the sanding. And then once the sealer's sanded, it'll be blown off, wiped, cleaned up, and then hung onto this line. And then it goes to the lacquer stage. Everything's lacquered with that top coat.
Wow.
And that's the final
Oh,
stage of
there's
that.
pieces right up there hanging
Yeah.
right now, huh? So we were going to be here just for a short amount of time, but everything is so exquisite here. You have to just rub it. I don't know if that's legal in Arkansas. Hope they never outlaw it, but I mean everything, like right next to you here, Josh. Look at that. Is this going to be a shelf or a bar top
It's
or
a bench.
A bench.
It's a big line. It doesn't have the legs on it yet, but it's a bench.
It's beautiful.
It'll go with the big live edge table. Probably this one right here will be the bench that
Oh,
goes
yeah.
with this slab. But
I would never let anybody sit on that. It's so gorgeous. But you guys it's lacquered and everything, right?
no, it's a conversion varnish.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's the most durable finish you can put on wood.
So okay, let
But
people.
the last step is lacquered. That's what it is.
oh, yeah.
Wow. So just, I mean, just gorgeous. Look at that. Even just look, it might just look like a couple pieces of wood on camera, but there's so much going on here. It's kind of a live edge.
Oh.
No, that's not bark, right? No, there's no bark, but that's live edge. And what it's amazing, everything I touched, even on the bottoms, even the little seams underneath on the tables, every single thing is sanded perfectly smooth. So just beautiful, beautiful work.
Thank you. That's our niche. That's what we do.
Right. So in 1999, you saw all this beautiful stuff and you said we should do something different. And what happened in 1999?
We went to Ohio on a trip. We'd gone a few times before, and had picked up a rocking chair. But we had started meeting several other Amish suppliers, neighbors basically, of our panel supplier. And they were very eager to sell us product. They all specialize in one thing or another, whether it's rocking chairs only, or mattresses only, or bedroom furniture only. They do one thing to do it really well. So we took a little field trip from here to there and back and forth, and got information, placed orders, and then had that back called with our panels. So we just started picking up and have grown. Every year I think I add a new person from Ohio area.
Wow. And it all coagulates right here in this beautiful area. I mean, just this old wood, isn't it?
Yes, this is barn wood, literally barns torn down in Ohio and Pennsylvania. And we have a supplier, and he just lets us know when he has something. Right now he had short panels, so this table has widthwise panels. Oftentimes we'll have large panels and planks, and then we'll have a long elongated way.
It's just beautiful. And this wood's got to be 100-year-old.
Probably so, very thick. I like to keep, these are samples so that we can stain it, because we customize everything. I like to keep on the floor natural, just a clear coat,
Yeah.
so you can see all the nail holes, and then it accents
Yes.
all the different, because this will be hickory, pecan, walnut, ash, oak. Each time we get different combos of just whatever the barns were built out of.
And this was common back then, the rough kind of sod, so that, a lot of it by hand even back then. That's
Probably
just
so.
gorgeous.
Yeah, beautiful.
A classic Beautiful round table. That's modern wood. But
Yeah, this is just
beautiful.
solid red oak, but it's kind of a rustic look without being barn wood. This can be stained as well. It just has a real rough, what we call restoration finish with the saw marks and divots and knot holes. But we made it look that way.
Pedestal base down there, all made out of wood,
Yes.
turned in the Fort Smith factory, finished here, attached here to the beautiful table. One of your craftsmen signed it underneath, I'm sure. And we walked in the door. What wasn't here the last time I was here was this. And
Maple live edge.
it makes me speechless. Say that one more time.
It's maple live edge. It's called ambrosia maple because you're going to see all the character. This is wood that oftentimes was cut out and discarded. And so the Amish have told us they've always loved it, but so many manufacturers did not want the wormholes, didn't want the knots. They wanted that clear look. So now we get any width and length dimension that you want in maple, and then this is walnut we'll look at shortly. And I like it clear. I like just natural.
Yeah.
But these are samples of just some of the many, many, many colors. We can stain that. I just like the natural because you see the grays and the brown. You could put black chairs, natural chairs, brown chairs, anything with this table.
So this
and it
is
would carry.
96 inches long, 42 inches wide.
Which it
and-
varies. It's 42
Yeah.
on average since it's irregular, but yes.
Sure.
But any dimension, we sell a lot of 60 inch. We sell a lot of 120 inch.
Wow.
So
And this table by itself is $19.99. Custom, exotic looking metal base. That's a heavy piece of wood.
and that's all manufactured right here locally and powder coated locally.
Oh, that's wonderful. And then these chairs are
Well, this is a find in the last year. This is our Yukon chair. We do not manufacture this. This comes out of Ohio from an Amish manufacturer. Many different woods. Here we have it in maple with a particular leather, natural. And if you notice, this live edge table does not have a skirt. So this chair easily clears. But if you were to put it with a table with a skirt, you can't raise the top of the table. You don't want to, make a thinner top. So he has nicely altered his, which, I didn't want to insult him, but he altered his design, and occasionally I'll sell this for a table that has a skirt.
that's
And he makes
beautiful.
bar stools and everything.
So just when we walked in the door over there about an hour ago, this whole vision here stopped me in its tracks. It's kind of like the first time I met you, right, Sue? And it's
That'll be another session.
and here's another one, live edge. Tell me about this.
So
gorgeous
this is
thing.
the same dimensions, 42 by 96. This is walnut.
Walnut.
And walnut, you don't usually want to put any stain on it. You want to see
Yeah.
all the dark colors. Walnut's a little more expensive, but everything is wholesale price. So a little more expensive than the maple. This one's $29.99. It has the sap grain, so you want to see all the variation in it.
Maple's a very expensive piece of wood, and this is what you have not done to it is why it's so beautiful. Kept it natural and just it's beautiful.
And when this panel, when the panels arrive, it'll have bark out to here. So our guys are very meticulous to take off as much as would, fall off without compromising the integrity. So you'll still see some dark, you'll still see some divots and things like that. Occasionally we'll have a panel, either maple or walnut, that might have a place where a branch was cut off or has a knot, so there's character.
It's
this
real.
one's a little straighter.
It's real. It's beautiful. And then, but you also do the most modern or classic of styles also. And this was some of the panels that Ben and I were in the back looking at. All your sliders are all solid wood, and you got and the fronts and all the underneath and the bottom of all these tables are all sand. So this one's expandable. And are these are your chairs?
This is our Buckeye is what this one's called, and these are in maple, in black, but you could do them in ochre maple stained a wood color as well. Black just goes with everything. Someone probably in the next week will grab these chairs to go with another table, and they just fly off the
So the
floor.
little bit I know, this would be considered a frame chair, right? This is not a frame
like a
chair.
stick built.
So
and we
this
stand
is-
behind everything.
Wow.
But this chair, because it has components into the seat and then separate components out the bottom, it has a little more flex. So if you have people who tend to lean back or abuse a chair, possibly it could come loose, but we will stand behind us the lifetime of the chair. If it's our chair, we'll stand behind it. But yes, this is a frame built chair. So it has a continuous post all the way to the floor.
This is harder to build though.
Yes, yes.
And this is
yes.
maple.
Yes.
And this is
And this is a little bit taller chair too.
And this is $240
And it's
for a piece of-
10%, that's a 10% included in this because of the black. Any black or Sherwin-Williams color like blues and greens, they're a little more expensive. So
it's
yeah,
like
usually that chair
$230.
is a little less.
I mean, I'm speechless because it's just such great craftsmanship on that. And so it's amazing. Everything you do here is beautiful. You can just come in and pick things out. But also, before we are shooting this segment, you were on the phone with customers. People can come in here and they do it all the time. They have completely bespoke things, completely custom things. And a vision that might not be that clear, you take that and say to your craftsman and your craftswoman that we met already today, turn this into an heirloom quality piece of furniture.
Exactly.
And that's what you guys do. You know, Ben and I and Bobby were talking. You know, you go to a museum or you go to an antique store, you see something that's 100 years old, like, wow, that's beautiful. And lasting because they don't make them like that anymore.
Right.
But then you go to a museum and the things are 300 years old or 400 years old. Same thing at craftsmanship. I see the Woodco furniture and all the products that you bring in here. They're museum quality, they're heirloom quality. And you know, right now you're on the 4th generation that we met a little bit earlier.
Yes.
Beautiful baby.
Thank you.
5 and 6 generations from now of the Pierce family. They'll still see this furniture that you guys are making right now. That's the quality you have. It's wonderful. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
And brilliant move having a place here at Woodco where the public can come in and buy your products at wholesale. Pretty amazing. Honor knowing you, honor meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
You guys do a great job. It's just another, it's made in America, another Arkansan-based company. And this is why when we moved here over 15 years ago, we were only gonna be here for a couple of years while the grapes grew out in California. But it's people like you and your whole family are the reason why we're here. And Arkansas is our adopted home. It's the reason why we're building our tasting room with our California wines and a restaurant in Centerton, Arkansas.
Good deal.
I'd love one day to someone come in and say, hey, we want to film the 3rd or 4th generation of the Langman family.
Yes,
so we're
exactly.
trying to have that same attention to detail.
Good for you.
Congratulations. This was my master bidding sheet. I had about 45 lots that I was bidding. This was an online auction, so I was having to speed through and track all these items as they were expiring as the auction was going on. Here's what we did. We found out that we actually won quite a few items. Here's some of the pages that say, here's where we were successful. So now, let's see what ended up in our new winery building. All right, we are back in our new beautiful building. We're gonna put our tasting room, restaurant, winery, outdoor seating. How did we do in that auction? Well, let's take a look and find out. Here's some beautiful Woodco tables. They'll look beautiful on that new floor. Smooth as can be, just as beautiful as was in the factory that we just saw. Here's some of the boots. Fantastic, very heavy, very, very heavy. Here's some other furniture we're gonna have in the tasting area. And look, there's more boots and more boots and more boots and more boots. A big table, a huge amount of chairs. Is that it? Of course not. More tables, which are just spectacular. And as we come down this aisle, what do we have over here? More booths, more tables, and you're gonna dine right here when you're eating inside the beautiful new Langman Estate Winery tasting room, more chairs and a table. So in total, we bought 11 booths, 20 tables, 55 chairs, and the safe. You all will be able to see all of this when we open up the new Langman Winery right here in our adopted home of Centerton, Arkansas. Can't wait to see you there. Cheers. Another great Arkansas-based company. How inspiring. A wonderful family-owned company, generational in nature, high-quality products, amazing prices, very inspired what's happening here at Woodco, the quality of the products and the value that you have here. We are absolutely going to bid on that furniture in that pizza parlor that closed. I would be honored to have some of that furniture in the new Langman Estate Winery right in our adopted home of Centerton, Arkansas. So we're going to continue to have a couple more business-focused videos coming up. This is what you got to know about business if you're going to do it yourself, especially if you're going to do a restaurant, especially if you're going to do a winery. But keep in mind, we're going to get into the more romantic part of the winery business on upcoming videos. But I want to make sure everybody is very clear-headed on the proper business decisions to make so that you can open a business to be successful now, tomorrow, through your retirement, and hopefully on for the next generations. So remember, those algorithms here on YouTube love when you hit share, like, and you put comments in and subscribe. So please do that. We want to spread this message around. And don't forget, we're going to be opening that winery in Centerton, Arkansas in just about 5 or 6 weeks. Let's go.